It is about you. You are the selling point, and the landscape is changing. So be your authentic self, because no one wants to go to work being miserable all day. Look at your own resume, look at your own LinkedIn, and look at your impact and what you have provided for that other company. And if you write things in that context, you're going to talk to the next employer.
In my opinion, it's about giving the customer what they really want and just blowing their mind once they get it. And that's what I really love to see, honestly.
Get people to do more of home cooking, home cooked meals, healthy meals, so we can all live long and happy.
I'm very proud to be a mom, because not for nothing, women are amazing.
Oh my God, the sacrifice, and how we make it look so easy.
I was just telling Joanne before we got on the call, I said I had to run from my daughter's school. They had an Easter egg hunt. I said, all right, Mom, I gotta go to work. But you know, just as moms, we make it happen. You know, supernatural abilities. We are the example for them, you know, and I know that with them being a better version of us.
You have to try. You never know how creative you are until you try. Because I didn't think I was creative. I found my creative side during a horrible time in my life.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another week with us at Juneteenth Lunch and Learn. It is Thursday. We are super excited to have you joining us on today. My name is Athenia Rodney, CEO and founder of Juneteenth NYC, and we are here for another year. This has been 4 years in the making that we have been going live every Thursday on our Juneteenth platform. So clap it up for us. Woo, 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 woo. And why do I remember that? Because it's the week before my birthday. Woo, woo, yay. So next week will be on the 27th. Actually, on Thursday will be my birthday. So I will be excited to be celebrating it with you all for our Lunch and Learn, even though my husband was like, so are you going to talk to them about not working on your birthday? I said, oh, we'll see. I'm not working. I enjoy doing this. I love being around my people. So I am really excited and thankful to be in this space with you all. Today we have a very special guest, as we always do. Today we're going to be learning a little bit of something different, which is really cool, especially for our business owners, those who are out there and who are challenged mostly around human resources. And we think when we have a small business that we really don't need to think about those things, right? But we do. Whenever we are hiring anybody, even if it's an intern or a volunteer, we need to be thinking about the process that they go through. I do a number of workshops when I'm talking about standard operation procedures and how to put things in place. And the other part of that is the relationship building, holding people accountable, doing reviews, doing write-ups, like all of those things to be able to hold your team accountable to the work that they're doing. So this is very much on time in its entrances to all of us and to you, I'm sure, as a lot of people have been losing their jobs as of lately and thinking about what the next step for them will be, especially if that will be going into entrepreneurship. So I'm glad to be able to offer this. I met this young lady at an event here in Georgia, and we immediately clicked and we talked about her coming on to share some information with you all. So let me tell you a little bit about who she is. So our guest today is Delmar Johnson, the founder and principal consultant of HR Brain for Hire. With over 25 years experience in human capital management, Delmar has worked for businesses of all sizes. So I mean, small and large, from startups to corporations, helping them build leadership, refine processes, and create strong people-focused cultures. She is an Amazon best-selling author of HR is Sexy, the truth about human resources and why it's necessary for the business and seasons of my soul. Delmar brings a wealth of knowledge, real world experience, and a passion for helping entrepreneurs stop winging it. And that is exactly what a lot of people are doing. I have been meeting and consulting with people on the marketing side, and just hearing how people are winging it is not the way to do. So especially not in HR, because you'll get in a lot of trouble with that. And I'm sure she'll be talking about that a little bit later. Her expertise has been recognized by Black Enterprise, Voyage ATL, and Black Women Mean Business. And she has shared her insights on stages alongside industry giants like Matthew Knowles, Marcus Lemonis, and Marshawn Evans Daniel. So if we can please welcome Delmar to the stage, as she will be talking to us today about lessons from trailblazing women and how their journeys inspire personal growth. Hello and welcome.
Hello, Athena. How are you? Glad to be here.
I am good. I am good. I am so glad to have you. I am thankful to have you to be a part of this time. Thank you for the birthday wishes I see in the chat. So tell us, before we go into, because I know you have a presentation for us, tell us a little bit about what made you get into doing HR.
I'll tell you the short version of that story. How about that? I actually chose HR. HR may have chose me, to be honest with you, but it was all the way back in high school. I chose this profession when I was 17. So it's not a time where you think you know a lot, but you really don't know a lot at 17. But you have to make a decision, especially if your goal is to go to college, right? So we were in college decision mode, if you will, and visiting colleges that came to town. We used to call it a college-orama back in my hometown of Memphis, Tennessee. So visiting college-orama, it just enthused about the different programs that I saw, particularly in Tennessee. I was going to stay in state versus out of state. And I found my way to Middle Tennessee State University, go Blue Raiders, in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, where they had a program that would direct me in that way of human resources. And I actually got a precursor of human resources because of a vocational program that we had inside of the high school. So that really is what initially sparked my interest in human resources, and then just looking further into the programs that the colleges would offer that would put me on that track. And then, of course, when I went and got my master's several years after undergrad, it was specifically master's in organizational management, human resources. So this is a 30-year journey in human resources, but it started when I was 17. So
yes, I heard being a part of programs, connecting in those different spaces. So I have a junior in high school who is starting to explore and look at things. And I've been telling him, you got to sign up for this and sign up for that. And he's like, Ma, I don't want to do that. I'm like, you will never know what you want to do until you know what you don't want to do. So just do it. So I just hearing you share that, I'm going to have him watch this snippet when he comes home from school, just for that part.
Definitely. So yeah, it's been a long time. It's been, and I'm gonna give away my age now, but it's been 40 years actually that I've had interest in human resources, but 30 years, as a career and as an entrepreneur. But yeah, I chose it at 17 when I really didn't know what human resources was, but what caught my attention that it had to do with helping and being associated with people and connecting with people. That's what my 17-year-old mind thought. Okay. Yeah. And it's still part of that, because that's part of my mantra is that humanity first, enterprise next. So and the balance of both, right? Because you still, when you're inside of a corporation or helping a business, you still have to, see the balance of those compliance measures that need to be in a business. And then also, how do you treat your human capital? So the human-centric side of things have always been the center point of me being in human resources.
I love that. Well, I'm going to get off the stage. I'm going to pass it over to you and bring up your slides so you can start going through it.
All righty. And I think the arrow will direct me, right?
Yeah. Well, just let us know when you want us to go to the next slide.
Okay. So let's go to the front of the presentation. It started at the end. Give us just a moment. Let's see if we can get back to the beginning. Okay. All right. It's always a little technical glitch, isn't it? But we have to just keep moving. So first of all, thank you, Athena, for inviting me to your stage. I appreciate the opportunity to share with those who will be watching live and who will see the replay. So hello to you all. But I want to jump right in. She already kind of gave a great introduction. I'm going to give a little bit more feedback on who I am so you know who is before you today. But we're going to jump into talking about lessons from trailblazing women. That was the theme that was chosen, and how their journeys inspire personal growth. So some of the people that I'm going to share with you, hopefully you've heard of them. I'm sure you've heard of some of them, and maybe not all of them, and what they've done, what they've done and what they accomplished will intrigue you. But then we're going to go to the point where we're going to talk about, how do you create your own action plan and bring out the trailblazer in you. So let's jump right in, okay? So this is the kind of the flow we're going to be doing an introduction, to say a little bit more about who I am, their trailblazers lessons, steps to becoming a trailblazer. There any questions that you may have for me, I'll be happy to answer. Hello, guys. I'm Delmar Johnson, and I am passionate about service, entrepreneurship, and women leaders. That really is the core of who I am. So fall in those categories, you're probably going to find me there. Now, Athena already told you that my background is in HR. We kind of talked about that even in the beginning. Let's see if I can get to the next slide. Okay, so yes, I have a 30-year background in HR, working in corporate and small business community, and specifically the last 14 years of that has been dedicated to supporting small business owners, from startups to multi-million-dollar level revenue-based small businesses. I've worked for major Fortune 50 companies and 500 corporations like FedEx, Kelly Services Staffing Agency. I'm a former tech co-founder. That was a very interesting journey that I took for 3 years recently. Some of the media highlights I've had the opportunity to be highlighted in. It's always a privilege when that happens, and I'm always grateful. In Success Magazine, in Black Enterprise, in in Thrive Global, Voyage ATL, and Authority magazines. I'm a former college adjunct, really enjoyed that. I was part of the business adjuncts, of course. I'm an award-winning entrepreneur and author, as she said. I'm also an international speaker and facilitator. Got a chance to go overseas to Paris last year, and that was a wonderful, wonderful experience. And then my most recent thing that I'm really, really grateful for is that I became a certified woman business enterprise and woman-owned small business about 5 months ago. And any of you all that have been through that process know it is a process. So you're always appreciative when you are chosen to have that certification, that designation. Okay, that's enough about me. So let's get into what we are really here to talk about, trailblazing. We're going to talk about from a personal standpoint, from a professional business standpoint as well. So let's talk about what are some of those things that a trailblazer. And I think we're all trailblazers in our own right. We all have certain gifts, certain talents, certain know-how that can position us to build trailblazers, things that we've done in our life that we may have not even given enough credit to from the outside. On the inside have gotten enough credit. But then when we look back at it, we may see some trailblazing nuggets along the way, right? So what are some of the things that we'll find in a trailblazer? Trailblazers are usually breaking barriers. They are not turned away from breaking barriers. They're overcoming adversity. And what do kids say now? It's like you're 10 toes down. All right. You're standing on business as the vernacular is in the world today. But overcoming adversity, it's like, it's not necessarily they go looking for adversity, but when adversity shows up, they show up to face it and actually navigate through those waters of adversity and pivot and navigate as they need to get on the other side of that. So they don't necessarily go looking for it, but they don't go running from it either. So they're overcoming adversity. They're also creating opportunities for others. So there has to be a little less selfishness going on, if you will. Selfishness has its own place, okay? But a little less selfishness, and they are thinking beyond themselves. There's a big old world out here, right? So we're here to actually be able to share with others, be able to communicate and fellowship with others. And let's grow together as the human race, if you will. So creating opportunities for others is something you're going to see a trailblazer do, and actually cultivating something that's inside of the next person or the next community or next group of people that need to position themselves as trailblazers. And then some of the key traits you'll find in a trailblazer. Maybe you'll find some of these in yourself. I'm sure they're going to resonate with you. They have resilience. They know how to bounce. They know how to bounce back even when they're bruised. They have tenacity. They set their mind on something and they keep moving until they get to the mark that they're trying to get to. They have courage. It takes courage to navigate this life, doesn't it? It takes courage to navigate life, no matter what spectrum of life that you're on right now. It takes vision. They're the visionaries. They see beyond what is today. They see beyond what is that's what's around them. All right. So they see beyond that. And then they usually are leading others to that vision and leading others to apply what it is that they know to accomplish the vision. And then there's also influence. You know, there's a word out here, you know, influencer. I'm an influencer. I'm an influencer. And a lot of times I think I've thought about influencers. It's like, yeah, influencers are those that, you know, we'll see on social media platforms all the time. You know, they got their content, you know, really great. They're putting themselves out there, you know, they're showing up. But influencers can be a quiet storm too, if you ask me. It can be someone that is behind the scenes. Influencers are not always out front. A lot of times, you know, there's certain ones that need to be out front, and then there's always those that can be influenced from the backside of things, you know, from on the backstage. They're standing in the backstage, or they're standing in the wings, helping you actually be maybe the face of whatever it is that you're doing. So you have those visual influencers, and then you have the backstage influencers who are helping you navigate what it is that's going on. So I think we all have a level of influence and impact in us as individuals, and then definitely collectively. All right. So who are some influencers? Okay, we're not going to go too deep into their background, but I wanted to just kind of highlight some of the ones that I thought about, that I have seen as trailblazers in their own right and over a course of time. So I kind of broke it down for you by generations, if you will. So we start off with the baby boomers. All right. The baby boomers out here are still doing their thing. They've done their thing, and they've blazed a trail for us to follow behind them and kind of pick up the baton. Mae Jemison is one, and I think we've all heard of her. She was the first African-American woman in space. It's like, and I remember exactly when that happened, when she took off, you know, counted down to go into space. And that was a huge breakthrough in what is considered a male-dominated business, right? Definitely male-dominated. Obviously, there's been women in the NASA program, but that right there was definitely historical, because I had never, and I would imagine that plenty of us had not seen that before, because there never was one before. All right. So there's still a lot of firsts that are going on, especially among African Americans, that are the first at doing many things. So she was the first African-American woman in space. And remember the five elements of being a trailblazer that I talked about. I talked about resilience, tenacity, courage, vision, and influence. And I think we're going to see all five of those kind of characteristics in all the ladies that I share with you. So Mae Jemison, you know, set the trail for other African-American women, and even African-American men too, but African-American women to go to space if that's what they choose to do, to be part of NASA. Then Janet Bryant Howard, she's one of my sheroes, if you will, because she's in that HR line. She's in that HR employment services line. If you've never heard of her, she is magnificent. She is an industry mogul for Act One company. And she's actually expanded that into Agile One, where there's several different divisions under that umbrella of Agile One. I've had the opportunity to meet her a couple of times and hear her at conferences a couple of times. Very down to earth. And I like the fact that her family was involved in her progression in the business. And she became one of the first, I believe she was the first Black female to become a billionaire value for her business in that lane of HR and employment services. So that's really one of the reasons why she is my shero. But like I said, being able to meet her a couple of times, and she's so much more down to earth than I had expected when I first met her and when I first heard her. So she's very in tune very in tune with what's going on today and what's been going on for the last 35 years, that she has blazed that trail in that lane. Then, of course, we have Sheila Johnson. Sheila Johnson is the co-founder of BET and America's first Black female billionaire. How many of you all have heard, I believe it's called Salamander in the DMV area, which is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful resort that I hope to visit one of these days in the near future. But she definitely set was a trailblazer and blazed the trail when she was with BET, the co-founder, with her former husband of BET, but even more so as a Black woman in America that has truly blazed the trail with fire in the lane that she's in, and being such a business mogul that she is, being a mentor, giving into the community, and then just really taking over, the industry, where it's just mind blowing when you read the background of her story and what she's done. So these are just some of the highlights of some baby boomers that I thought would be really good to tap into and see where you may relate to what it is that they're doing in your own career and in your own business and entrepreneur life. In the next slide, we have Generation Z. No, excuse me, Generation X, excuse me. Before I get to Z, it's Generation X. That's the generation I fall into. All right, and we have Michelle Obama. We all know who Michelle Obama is. She's the first black first lady in the White House for 8 years. But by vocation, she's also a lawyer and an author. And we saw, just from the external admiration of her, we saw some of the things that she went through, some of the adversity that she went through, that was channeled through the media of who she was or who they perceived her to be, and the egregious things that came against her. So definitely having resilience and that tenacity and that courage and vision, and being an influencer, because she carried it with grace. That's how I would describe it. She carried the things that she had to pivot through and navigate through in those 8 years in the White House, and being ridiculed in the media because of being a Black woman, and then being a woman, I believe, of class and of grace. Then we have Ketanji Brown Jackson. I watched those Supreme Court justice trials, and very emotional. We saw her get very emotional. Saw some degrading, even in the things that she went through in being going through that process to become the first black female Supreme Court justice. And she endured it with grace. She endured it with emotions. She showed that she was human, and that was all right to be human, even in the pressure that she was sitting in that seat for however many days those seats were. I tuned in as just a way of just my external support. It's like, okay, let's hear who she is. A woman of brilliance, a woman of character, a woman who has a history that proved herself to be right for the Supreme Court justice. And then, of course, we have Kamala Harris, the first woman of color to the office of Vice President of the USA. We saw the ridicule that she went through. We saw, excuse me, everybody. We saw the things that she went through in the media, but yet still put one foot in front of the other. So all of these in Generation X definitely show those 5 characteristics of a trailblazer. And if you have any comments, we'll flash them on the screen, or if you have any questions as we move forward. So now we have millennials. We have Serena Williams, one of the #1 tennis champions of the generation of millennials, and even influencing Generation X, my generation as well. The #1 Black female, along with her sister Venus, but with Serena Williams being a tennis champion for, I believe she played tennis for 15 years, give or take, and left on top. And then beyond that, went desired to be a mother, and balance that and choosing that. Okay, it just went dark in here. Let me see if I can get the light on. See, when technology happens, you have to keep going. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. I'm in a room. I guess it's dictated by if I'm moving enough. So again, Serena Williams, one of the top tennis champions of our time. And then we have Rihanna. Okay, through Rihanna in there, part of the music industry, She was a mogul as a singer, as an artist, but even more so becoming billionaire status, billionaire value in when she went over to and introduced Fenty. So being a trailblazer in that, she was one of the first to put out 40 different shades of base makeup, if you will, and then everybody else tried to catch up with her. Industries that had already been out there for decades never thought enough to say, hey, there's plenty of skin color out there. It's more than just the 2 or 3 that they have, but everybody tried to chase her, and she still outchased them. She still outchased them. So being a disruptor like that, and being the disruptor kind of personality that she has, while also providing opportunities for thousands that are in her, that's in her business. But that Fenty brand took her to another level, and the collaboration that she had in that, and being a boss, if you will, in that perspective, definitely lends her to be a trailblazer and have those 5 characteristics. Then you have Tarana Burke, who came along with Me Too, and Me Too sparked a whole movement of women who decide to speak up about the atrocities and the abuse and the offenses and the harassment that they had in their life, whether it was in career, in their personal lives, in business, in government, in state. Okay, something just happened. Not sure what. Okay, you got to keep flowing. You got to keep flowing. All right. So Tarana Burke of Me Too started the Me Too movement. So more women began to speak up about the things that they had gone through, and that is still around. So being a disruptor and a trailblazer in that, allowing women to have the voice to come forward and no longer be silent. So who else do we have? We have Generation Z. Generation Z, we have the wonderful Amanda Gorman, who we saw, the American poet and activist, came out and gave her voice, lent her voice to us in the wonderful poem that she did at the inauguration. So that was the first time I had heard of Amanda Morgan, and she was brilliant, a brilliant young lady, but she's a poet and she's an activist, and she gives voice to what is of importance to her. Then we have Coco Gauff. She's another tennis champion of the Generation Z, where she won the Wimbledon, and just set a trail, blazed a trail for those young ladies who would come behind her in Generation Alpha. I believe the alphabets have started over in Generation Alpha. So Coco Gauff, I believe she's like 20 years old now, and won the Wimbledon last year. And then Elena Wicker. Now, you all may not have ever heard of this young lady, but I actually have been connected to her mother online and have just watched her journey. I think since she was about 6 years old. She's 13 years old now, in her first year of medical school. She is a genius. She is brilliant. She's a STEM enthusiast and founder of Brown STEM Girls. Definitely check her out. Wonderful young lady. I believe she's 14 now, but she's in her first year of medical school. She has definitely blazed a trail for Generation Z and for those who would come behind her, Generation Alpha that will come behind her. Very brilliant young lady. So I want to share some generational trailblazers that we've seen and some that we may not have seen. So how do we put together our own trailblazer action plan? There's a step-by-step to, breaking barriers and creating an impact, because I think all of us have the trailblazer gene, but have we tapped into it? Have you tapped into it as an individual to find out what is that thing that you can blaze? All right. I kind of snuck over to the comments real quick. Okay. So how do we begin to apply trailblazing lessons, in your own life? First time hearing of Alina. Yeah, love Ariana. Yes, Alina, she's brilliant. I've been watching her because of her mother sharing her story online since I think she's about 6 years old, and she's only 14 and in medical school. She's breaking all kind of barriers and blazing all kind of trails for her generation and those to come after her. So applying trailblazing lessons in your life. There's a lot of questions that's going to be asked in the next several slides to get you to thinking about, where's your trailblazing gene? Where is that characteristic in you? So what bold move do you need to make right now? What bold move that, you've been maybe trepidatious about taking, but when you take it, it's going to put you on the other side of where you desire to be, where you want to be, and even where you need to be. What are those kind of moves that you need to make? Do you need to write that best-selling book that you've been sitting on for the last 5 years? Do you need to open up that business that's going to help your community upskill their knowledge base and provide career development too? Do you need to make a bold move and actually going back to school because that that's something that you want to accomplish personally for yourself, for nobody else, but maybe you've been out of school for 5, 10, 15, 20 years and you didn't finish, but now you maybe be a little trepidatious about going back. No, make that bold move. We need bold moves in the midst of what's going on right now, in the midst of the chaos that we see outside. It's like checks what's going on internally and what bold moves do you need to make that'll be good for you, be good for your family, be good for your community. So think about those kind of bold moves and put in the chat for me, if you will. What's one bold move that you need to make, or one that you've been sitting on that's like, in 2025, I'm going to take that step toward that thing that I've been putting off. So if you're bold enough, you got the courage, put it in the comments. All right. What challenge do you need to push past? What challenge do you know? Have you been sitting in a challenge? Have you been sitting in a problem too long? Have you been pondering it too much and had to move past it? Is it affecting everything that you're thinking about doing? And it's, had you maybe stuck or had you kind of anxious about actually doing? It's like, what is that challenge you need to push past you? Because it's not serving you anymore. So you need to push past it. It's like, who is in your support network? When's the last time you checked your circle? I always ask people that. When's the last time you checked your circle? What kind of support network do you have? Whether that's among friends, whether that's among family, community, as a business, what kind of network do you have? Aaliyah, I hope that's how she pronounced her name. I've started writing a memoir for my puppy who died last year. I've been dreaming of writing a book. I think that's my bold move, finishing the book I've been writing. That is your bold move, Aaliyah. That is your bold move, and I encourage you and support you to do that. Taking a step to do some in-person speaking engagements. There you go, Athena. Come on. We both need to be doing that more. Come on. People need to hear what we have to say that's going to resonate with them and actually bring them hope and encourage them to take that bold move, right? We have discipline and beauty. All right, discipline and beauty. OMG, school. I just signed up for school for me as well as my business. I'm sitting on because I don't have my high school diploma. I can't do nothing. You can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Yeah, I'm a faith girl. I'm a God girl. That's going to come out of me. All right. You can do all things. It's like you don't have your high school diploma. If you need to get your GED, go find a program. Have your GED so you can move forward. So there can be one bold thing that you can do and check off your list to progress you to where you need to be. I need to show up and show off in business and support my community. Well, Grace and Blake Naturals, then that's what you need to do. How about that? We're going to encourage you to do that. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's awesome. You're like, who is in your support network? Who do you have? And it doesn't have to be a lot of people in your support network either. It needs to be the right ones in your support network, as well as you supporting them, right? It needs to be reciprocal, right? It needs to be reciprocal. And then at the end, I'm going to talk about a 30-day goal inspired by today's session. So let's kind of jump into what does that action plan look like? What is the number one thing you need to start with? Identify your purpose and vision, right? Identify your purpose. We all have purpose. We all have purpose. Our purpose, I told you I'm a God girl. Our comes from Genesis 1. If you want to know where your purpose is, all right? Our purpose comes from Genesis 1. But define your personal mission statement. How many of y'all have a personal mission statement, or maybe have attempted to write a personal mission statement before? Anybody have a personal mission statement, or just a personal core value statement they've made for themselves as an individual, and not necessarily for your business? So if you have that, please share it. I'm going to. I have my notes up here too, but I wanted to share with you a mission statement that I have been working on. And I'm going to share it with you just so you can hear what a personal mission statement can sound like. And of course, my background is HR, so some of that has to do with this as well. I said, I am dedicated to equipping leaders and entrepreneurs with the strategies, confidence, systems to build thriving, people-centered businesses. Through my work in HR, leadership development, and business strategy, I create spaces where vision meets execution, cultures are built to last, and legacies are lived, not just left. My mission is to empower those ready to scale with intention, impact, and audacity. So I'm working on my own personal mission statement, but our personal and our professional kind of go together, right? Our professional can't leave our personal. Our personal, a lot of time, can't leave our professional. It's all inside of us. So that's to encourage you to sit down and think about how to write out your mission statement as well, your personal mission statement as well. What problem do you want to solve? What is that one thing that you know you probably can solve, that you know you have what it takes to solve it, but you hadn't solved it yet, but you want to solve it, but you're going back and forth with yourself about solving it, and putting it out there. There's a lot of, there's a lot of problems floating around us, right? But what is that one problem that you want to solve, that you've thought about solving, and maybe stopped yourself from putting it out there? So if anybody want to share what their one problem, that they want to solve, please share, and we'll shout you out about it. Who do you want to impact? We're talking about identifying your purpose and vision, right? But these are the questions that you need to ask yourself and the things that you want to think about. Who do you want to impact? Who do you want, if you're a business owner, who do you want to impact in your business? Or, have you prepared your foundation? Of course, I'm going to always slip in HR because that's who I am. It's like, who do you want to impact? And is your infrastructure in your business positioned for you to be able to make an impact? All right. From your business standpoint, from your personal standpoint. Who do you want to impact? Do you want to make an impact upon children? Do you want to make an impact among young adults? Do you want to make an impact in your church community, in your faith-based community? Do you want to make an impact in the marketplace? So what those are kind of questions that you have to ask when you're identifying what your purpose is and what your vision is for your life and for your business, and I know there's probably a lot of entrepreneurs on here, small business owners, there's aspiring, and then there's hybrid, where you're a career person as well as an entrepreneur. You've been thinking about those things. So those kind of things you want to share, she'll pop them on the screen for me. So define your personal mission statement, kind of think about, what that statement will lead your life going forward. Athena said, my purpose is to bring clarity to visions by exposing untapped talent and gifts. And I believe there's a lot of untapped talent and gifts out there because people are scared to put it out there. Athena also said to empower others, foster connections, and create sustainable impact through cultural, educational, and community-driven initiatives. So you see, Athena has thought about this. Who else has thought about that? And if you hadn't done it, hopefully this will inspire you to do it. This is what these Lunch and Learns are about, right? Empower the youth. That's what discipline is. Discipline is beauty says she wants to empower the youth. Then that's what you want. Then that's what you go do. Jocelyn De Jesus, I believe. I want to impact marriages and help couples who are having trouble with their relationship. And what does that look like? Have you defined even further what that looks like for that impact to really take hold, right? Nano, I believe that's it. This is Esther. Speaking engagements in the Philippines, going global with my craft and educating people to broaden their horizons internationally. Go for it. So I'm glad you all are thinking about that, have thought about that. You have Z Talib Bay. I will finally get my nonprofit running this year. Go for it. You got to get your 501c3. You got to get, your guidelines and your organizational business plan in place and put it says write the vision and make it plain so others can run with it. All right. So identify your purpose and vision. So great comments on those. So let's go to number 2. Challenge the status quo. The status quo keeps us stuck, right? So what outdated belief or system needs to change? Ask that to yourself. What outdated belief or system needs to change? What outdated belief or system is not serving you anymore, but you've got comfortable with, that you've fallen in love with? All right. And we all are guilty of it. All right. We all are guilty of it. So we have to challenge the status quo. It's like, what are those outdated beliefs that may have served us in the past? Okay. May have served us in the past, but it doesn't serve us anymore, because if we're going to grow, if we're going to be trailblazers, if we're going to be impactful and influencers, those outdated beliefs are no longer should have the weight in our life to move us forward. Outdated beliefs cannot move us forward, actually. And outdated systems, what do we need to upgrade internally? What do we need to upgrade externally that's going to help us to make the change that we need to make? Another question you want to ask yourself, how can you start making a difference? And the difference doesn't have to be broadcasted. all the time. It doesn't, everybody runs to social media, say, hey, look what I did, look what I did, look what I did. But that's not really always the way that needs to happen. Now, if you're doing an initiative, a campaign where, you want to get it out to more of the masses, then, you put a marketing and PR plan and social media plan behind that. But you don't already have to be that influencer or that go-to person to actually make a difference. Differences start in small steps. Despise not small beginnings. So small steps lead to the big steps, right? Indigo said, my goal is to help people alleviate stress. I believe that's what she's saying. Alleviate stress and anxiety using sound therapy and alternative methods. See, very specific. Sound therapy and then alternative methods to release stress, because stress kills. There's a lot of stress and anxiety, levels of anxiety, and not knowing what's happening in individuals in their worlds. That's what I'm trying to say. So individuals, people collectively, a lot of people are stressing out right now. There's a lot of anxiety going on. There's a lot of uncertainty. That's the word I'm looking for. A lot of uncertainty. But how can you start making a difference right now in your community in volunteering for something, going to help the homeless, whatever it is, the difference is it doesn't have to be broadcasted. It can start small. And then if you need to get it out there to the masses, then create a campaign around that and let word of mouth carry you through that. So how can you start making a difference now, right where you are? So we have to challenge the status quo. We have to release those past beliefs and those systems that may have once served us, but not serving us now. Because there's things that we have to do. There's greater, better, more out there for us to attain. Number 3 is build resilience in overcoming adversity. I told you resilience was one of those number 1 characters of a trailblazer. So we have to reflect on past challenges. What past challenges have you had that actually equipped you to be who you are today? That actually equipped you to be the brilliant person that you are in your business, or the brilliant person, brilliant and productive person that you are in your career, in your business, in your family, in your community, in the marketplace. What type of past challenges that not holding you back, but actually provided fuel for you to move forward. So think about those kind of things. What have you learned from your failures? I always say, if you're going to fail forward. And sometimes you're going to fail often, but as often as you may fail, make sure you fail forward to extract the lessons from those things that we consider failures and then apply them to the next thing that we need to be doing to make that impact in the world that we need to be making as individuals and collectively as well. So reflect on those past challenges. What's fueled you to move forward in the brilliant person that you are now? What have you learned from your failures, and have you intentionally failed forward? Jocelyn says relationships take work, and challenges don't mean failure. Instead, they can be opportunities for growth and deeper connection. I want couples to understand that they have to put in the effort. Yes, there's effort in relationships, whether that's romantic relationships, platonic relationships, friendships, all of that takes work, and we have to put that forward. So build resilience and overcome adversity by taking those past challenges, letting them be your fuel, and then fail forward. And then number 4, talk about cultivate a strong support network. We talked about that, right? Initially, it's like, who is in your network? Who is in your network that's not in your network to pull from you, but to actually pour into you? A lot of times we are, those of us who pour and share a lot, we wind up with an empty cup, but it's the overflow that others should be getting. What's in the cup is for us. So we're trying to operate from an empty cup. We're not going to get very far. We get burned out, right? We get burned out. But think about who is in your network, and your network doesn't have to be, large, right? It doesn't have to be huge, but it has to be the right people in that network that actually fuel you to walk in the path that you need to walk into and do the things that you need to do. And then reciprocal, you give to your network as well, pour into them about some things that they need to be encouraged about, or given hope, or given directions or strategies that they need to do as well. So who are your mentors? Who are your allies that is encouraging you, that's advocating for you? There's giving you a gentle push in the back to help you keep moving forward and keep moving upward. So who are those mentors or allies? Maybe you didn't have a mentor, but maybe you've had some allies. Maybe you've had some coaches or maybe you've had some past teachers, that really encouraged you in what you've been doing. and where you've been growing in your business, in your career, in your life. How can you build your network? Sometimes your network is just built one by one. You have to get out there, especially if you take it from a business standpoint, from networking and building a relationship. You have to make yourself known. You have to get out there and actually go into places that may be uncomfortable for you, that may be uncomfortable. It's in the uncomfortability that we really tap into our brilliance. We really tap into our genius that we didn't see because we over here in our comfort zone. We're over here in our comfort zone. So how can you build your network? Go out, talk to people that don't look like you, don't think like you, don't live like you. We could always extract something from each other without judgment. Saying we listen and we do not judge. I think that's another saying that's out there. We listen and we do not judge. So how can you build your network? Show up. Go out to those places that make you uncomfortable. Go to places that you hadn't been in a long time, and choose the avenue of introducing yourself. Opening up and being open to meeting new people and open to doing new things. All right. So if you have a mentor ally, put it in the chat, or think about if you want to give some pointers on how you've built your network, or how you built your support network, or who's in your support network. Right. I always say if you have at least 5 solid people in your circle, you're good. So OC said, my support network is my mom and siblings. And a lot of times that will start with our family, right? A lot of times that will start with our family. And then we kind of bring on some other mentors or other allies or network of people come into our lives as we get out there and live our lives, right? So my support network is my husband and my twin sister. See, so like I said, a lot of times it'll start within our family, but we need so much more than the people that are in our family too. We need so much more than the people that are in our family, because our family is our family, right? Hopefully they're going to encourage us and going to be there for us when, we may, bump our heads on a few things, bump our knees on a few things, but they'll be there. But think about who needs to be maybe some external support that wind up building a relationship, that you wind up building a relationship to be part of that supportive network. All right, number 5. Take calculated risk. What bold move can you take this month? All right, this month. What bold move can you take this month? I challenge you to write down a bold move and actually work toward that and make it happen this month before the month of March is out. What's today, the 20th? So we have 11 more days. March is a long month. So we have 11 more days in this month. What bold move can you make that will change the trajectory of what you're doing, or that will progress you into the next space that you need to be, or the next step and the next level that you need to be at? One small step toward it. I told you, it's the small steps that lead to the big steps. So despise not those small steps. All right. So what calculated risk can you take? Again, all of these are part of what a trailblazer, how you create your trailblazer action plan. And also think about the things that you can do inside of your business when, if you want to set your business up to be impactful, you have to have that. You have to take calculated risk. You have to have that infrastructure in place. You have to have those SOPs. You have to have the right team in place. You have to have the right processes and everything to be compliant. And a lot of times small business owners will run for that. But that's really why HR Brain for Hire and myself exists, to be able to help that community become those trailblazers in their business by having the right infrastructure in place. So think about that. That's taking a calculated risk and not running from those things that are a necessity inside of your business. And no matter if you're a startup or you've been in business for a long time, revenue is great. Even startups, people tell me all the time, startups say, damn right, I don't really need HR right now, so that's not a risk I want to take right now. But really, HR starts on paper first. That's part of one of the frameworks that I teach startups. It's like it started on paper first, because if you're wanting to grow your business and expand it, have the infrastructure in place, you need to know what it looks like first. So that visual that you create on paper helps you move to when it's time for you to move to that step to actually have the team, to have all the policies and SOPs and things like that in place. Say, I will go live on TikTok. There you go, OC. Go live. Share my main script and draft with someone. There you go. Talking about taking a calculated risk in those bold steps. Create a video of myself sharing information, releasing it on TikTok and other social media platforms. There I go dark again, guys. Here we go. I'm trying to move. There you go. Come on, light. There you go. And then there was light. So taking those calculated risks, okay? So number 6, We're talking about creating an action plan for us to tap into our own trailblazing gene, I like to say, okay? So number 6, use your voice and influence. How can you advocate for yourself or others? Do you advocate for yourself? Have you advocated for others? A lot of times I think we find a level of anxiety if we're advocating for ourselves, because now people are thinking it's like, we're getting angry, or, we're, exerting a, I don't know, exerting a way of getting things done that may, take someone else back. But if we don't advocate for ourselves in certain situations, then who's going to advocate for us if we don't necessarily have that support network that can, help give voice to that? So advocating for yourself, advocating for others, because sometimes we do have to stand up for others who may not have their voice yet, All right. What platform can you use to share your message? Here's a platform right now. We're on a platform right now. YouTube, StreamYard, LinkedIn, TikTok, Snapchat. I don't even know if Snapchat still around, but it's all kind of platforms, right? You got Instagram. There's all kind of platforms that you can do. And then there's also physical platforms. If you have your own live event, physical platforms. So there's so many ways to get your message out. You get your message out through the books that you're writing. You can get your message out through, writing blogs and articles. It's so many ways to get your message out on different platforms and just doing it consistently. I myself have always struggled with consistency. Let's be transparent here. I have struggled with consistency in certain areas of my life, not all areas of my life, but consistency, especially from a business standpoint. It's like getting that message out there over and over again, especially when you've done this for such a long time. Like I have, you have to pivot, and you have to adjust to get back to the consistency that you want to have in your message. So what platform can you use to share? I know several people already said they're going to use TikTok. TikTok is, is all the rage these days. I'm on TikTok too. So you may, follow me over there and check things out. I love LinkedIn, Aaliyah said. I love LinkedIn too, and want to get even better at it myself on LinkedIn. So I do articles over there. I do posts over there, try to be thought-provoking over there as well. So again, how can you advocate for yourself or others, and what platform can you use to share your message, to use your voice and influence? Number 7, leave a legacy and pay it forward. And I also have a keynote that I talk about where I say live a legacy, because you can live your legacy now. You don't necessarily have to leave it. You can live it and you can leave it and pay it forward. So how can you support the next generation? What are you doing for the next generation? If you're a baby boomer, what did you do or have done or are doing for my generation, which is Generation X? Okay, Generation X, what are we doing for millennials? What are you doing for Generation Z? And then the alphas I think are still babies, okay, toddlers, little bitty persons, all right? What are you setting up for them? So how can you support the next generation to make sure that they understand how to lay a foundation for what it is that they desire to do and what it is that they are destined to do, all right? Who can you mentor and uplift? So if you've had mentors, who can you mentor? All right. Has anybody been a mentor or a mentor right now to, a younger generation, or someone that you're pouring wisdom into or uplifting to make sure that, they can see a sign of hope in the things that they're doing? So yeah, live a legacy and leave a legacy. All right. So as we begin to close out, just have an open discussion. And I want to leave you with this final thought. It's like trailblazing isn't just about being the first. It's about making a difference so others can follow. Take action and support one another. And then I have a download. I want everybody to take a screenshot of the QR code so they can do a self-discovery. All right. A trailblazer self-discovery. So it's a self-paced exercise to unlock your own trailblazing superpower. So take out your phones and do that. It's just a free download. It'll grab your email so you can be able to have that as an immediate download, and take the next 30 days, the next couple of weeks, and really sit down and do that self-discovery. Because again, we all have that gene of trailblazing inside of us. We need to just take the time to pull it out of ourselves.
Oh, wow. Oh my gosh, Joman, this was amazing. I know I felt like we need to have a 2-hour session. I know you were kind of going fast so that we can get it in time.
Yeah.
But there was so much good conversation in the chat. People were definitely sharing, contributing. That was really amazing. It was so much that you went through and you talked about from. I wrote down a whole bunch. Look, I wrote down 2 pages of notes. I was trying to keep up with you. I definitely agree with failures are a way to fail forward. It's an opportunity for learning. We talked about holding yourself back, being able to utilize different platforms to be able to share your words, share your information, taking a step, writing it down, making it plain, letting people know like what it is that you really are trying to do. And I put down accountability. Because I use social media for myself as accountability space, because I know if I put it out there, somebody's going to be in my DM and be like, Athenia, I thought you said you were going to do X, Y, and Z, or where is this at? Or, something about that accountability is really helpful. So I use social media as an accountability factor when I'm putting things out. I'm like, hold me to keep my word, because I'm very big on integrity. Like that means a lot to me. So if I'm not keeping my word, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm letting the people down who I am leading or representing in that way. So this was really amazing. I don't know if you have any last words that you want to share. I think we went through questions as we were kind of going through. If you want to share any last words before we close out today.
This is what I want you to take away. And I actually made a note to myself because I want to make sure that I said it.
Sure.
It's like I want this community that you have. First of all, thank you for having me here. But I want this community to take away that they are already equipped with the gifts, with the talent, with the curiosity, with the creativity, with the innovation, and more that allows them to forge their own path of being a trailblazer, whatever that looks like for them to be a trailblazer, that they can recognize their lineage is a reflection of what is already in them.
Wow. That was amazing. I definitely agree. We do have some dynamic people, a lot of people who shared the stories from writing books and doing speaking engagements and being out and about and all of those things. I know for myself, I do a lot of things on Zoom. I've gotten comfortable in this space. So being in front of people, it's like, I don't know, it goes back to my 3rd grade self when I was standing in front of stage and I was shaking to death, and I couldn't control myself. So now I'm going on public TV and news and doing stuff, and I don't even understand it sometimes, but definitely just being able to overcome your fears and go out there and be the best that you can be. So thank you so much, Emma. It was a pleasure to have you. Thank you. I'm gonna send you backstage. Okay. As I close this out. So thank you, everyone. This was really great. I see everyone in the chat sharing their thanks, their congratulations, and how great this was. This really was a great session. If you give me 3 minutes, I'm just going to go through a couple of things pretty fast that we have coming up with Juneteenth. We have our vendor orientations that we do every Monday. If you have not joined us and you're interested in being a vendor with us, this is a great opportunity. And I want people to understand the difference that this is not a pop-up event. I don't agree so much with pop-up events because it is usually just a bunch of individuals who are kind of supporting each other. What I do encourage is to put yourself in spaces where you are with your target market. And that's why we do a vendor orientation, because we want people to understand what your market is here with Juneteenth and if this is the right place for you. I would hate to have you be a part of something and it wasn't the right place for you. So I encourage you to come. We do every Monday at 7 p.m. That we will be doing presentations. And then starting on in April on Tuesdays, we'll be doing information trainings and workshops for general information. So talking about doing your business plan, about bookkeeping, like a lot of things that happen in the business world that we don't do a lot of talking about, but it is very paramount to our success as a business. Next, I wanted to share with you about our being a volunteer with us is a great opportunity. We have opportunities for those who are online because we do our virtual summit on the 19th. Usually that's one of the days that people are off, or we hope that it's still going to maintain a day that people are off from work. With the new administration, we never know what to expect, but this is definitely something that we encourage. If you are interested in being a volunteer, to please go to our website, which is juneteenthny.com, to be able to contribute to that. So lastly, we have our fashion and model industry. They are doing a series of workshops as well. And these are all of the different workshops that will be being presented for that. Our first one is going to be April 5th from 1 to 2. A couple of them are in person, and then there are also some that are virtual. So for those who are in the Georgia area, Chicago, California, we have people from different areas that were on. If you are interested in participating in one of these, we do encourage you to please join us. Like I said, the first one will be April 5th, 1 to 2, and then the next one after that, lights, camera, capture, will be virtually. So I just wanted to share all of those things because we have a lot going on as we are doing the mad dash to the end of the year with everything Juneteenth. So we really just want to make sure that we are keeping ourselves honest and letting you all know all we have going on and the opportunities that you have to be a part of this massive community. And we do have a Facebook group. So if you are interested, to definitely look us up. And we are on all platforms. So I want to say thank you again for being with us. Follow us on Instagram. We were also live on Instagram today. So Juneteenth NY. Our YouTube channel, please like and share. Invite somebody to come back next week. We are here every Thursday. And guess what? Next week's my birthday, y'all. So let's party up. Enjoy your week and have a blessed one. Thank you. Happy Juneteenth. Bye.